They called it the Aurum Trench, a place where the water doesn't flow. It ripples like liquid silk. Captain Midas was a man who hated the poverty of the soul. He didn't want to hunt for coins, he wanted to be the source of all wealth. In a temple built of solid amber, he found it, the Solar Heart. He believed it would turn his ship, the Golden Greed, into a legend that would never sink. But as he touched the crystal, the ocean didn't shimmer with light, it grew heavy. Midas didn't know that gold is the heaviest burden of all, and it never lets go of what it claims. It started with the sweat on the crew's brows. As it hit the deck, it didn't evaporate. It turned into tiny golden beads that rolled like ball bearings. Then, the curse reached their lungs. Every breath felt like swallowing molten lead. Their skin turned into polished 2-4 karat gold, cold, hard, and unyielding. When they moved, there was no sound of footsteps, only the dull, heavy clink of metal on metal. We weren't pirates anymore. We were living statues. Worth a fortune, but unable to feel the warmth of the sun or the salt of the spray. The transformation was a silent, suffocating luxury. Midas watched as his masts, once flexible pine, became rigid pillars of solid gold, etched with ancient runes of greed. The sails turned into heavy sheets of golden leaf that caught the light but ignored the wind. Our cannons were now ornate masterpieces, firing spheres of white-hot molten gold that encased enemy ships in a lethal, glittering shell. We were being unmade by the very wealth we worshipped. A violent, silent gilding that turned every scream into a golden sculpture. From the heavy amber depths rose the Sentinel of Greed, a colossal mountain of fused bullion and the bones of 1,000 kings. It didn't breathe. It groaned with the crushing weight of its own value. It watched as Midas reached for the heart, his hand already a claw of cold, reflective gold. The Sentinel was the banker of the abyss, and it was here to collect the interest on a life spent in pursuit of the sun. We were no longer men. We were collateral in a deal signed in blood and sealed in gold. When the Royal Navy tried to reclaim the Golden Greed, they found a storm of fire. Our cannons launched spheres of pure, incandescent, liquid gold. I watched as their ships were not destroyed, but decorated. The metal cooled instantly, turning their hulls into solid monuments and their crew into golden statues. They died in the most expensive way possible, their final expressions of terror frozen forever in a mask of glittering, priceless agony. Our victory felt like a funeral in a vault. The ocean around us was no longer water. It was a thick, viscous sea of black oil and liquid gold. Midas walked across the deck, his steps clinking like coins falling into a deep well. Beneath the surface, he could see the history of the world's greed Viking longships and Spanish frigates, all fused into a single, massive reef of solid gold. He realized he wasn't a captain. He was a curator of a museum that no one would ever visit, a king of a world that was too heavy to ever move again. The Solar Heart demanded a final sacrifice. It replaced our warm blood with the slow, heavy flow of liquid gold. Our hearts stopped beating. They began to vibrate with the low frequency of the sun. Midas embraced the change, letting the gold fill his eyes until the world was nothing but a blur of blinding amber light. He found the eternity he craved, but it was an eternity of absolute stillness. A world where you could own everything, but you couldn't breathe a single, simple breath of air. The ship began to sink, but it didn't fall through the waves. It tore through them like a stone through thin paper. We descended past the skeletons of golden leviathans and silent cities of solid amber. Each fathom was heavier than the last, the pressure of the sea trying to crush our metallic frames into dust. We reached the core of the abyss, a place where the gravity of the earth is made of pure, concentrated gold. We weren't at the bottom of the sea. We were at the very center of the world's endless hunger. Midas sat on a throne of fused gold bars, his eyes now twin pools of black ink. He was the sovereign of silk, the king of a realm where everything is beautiful and everything is dead. He could hear the clinking of every coin and the groaning of every golden chain in the deep. He had found his treasure, but it was a treasure that anchored him to the dark forever. He was the wrecked pirate of the Gilded Grave, a monument to the terrible price of a golden soul. I am the wrecked pirate. I have seen the fire, the ice, the rust, and the electricity. And now, I stand in a world of gold. Do not seek the solar heart, sailors. Wealth is a weight that will pull you down until your bones snap, and beauty is a trap that never lets go. The ocean is meant to be salt and foam, not a vault for your vanity. I am the shimmer on your horizon,